I think it is a Western concept for kids to borrow their parents' money and expect it back and actually get it back.
Let's assume you don't take my advice and you borrow them money.
Eh.
Jesus will come back. Jesus will come back. He will go back. You will not get your money. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome to this new episode. I know you'll be wondering that this is not our regular setup, and it isn't, and it's a start of a new dawn for us. But this is not the final destination.
Yes.
As we are still expecting some deliveries.
Yes, sir.
The moment they come in, we'll put together a video that shows you our new setup.
And how we set it up.
yeah.
And, if you want to hopefully take any tips away from it, then you are more than welcome to join us behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Great. Today's topic is very spicy, as many of our topics are. But the topic is linked to finances. And this is about, how do I even phrase this question? Should you borrow your parents' money?
This is something that everybody has been waiting for. Oya mommy lowo.
Oya daddy lowo.
You're joking. How do you say you borrow your parents' money and you're expecting them to pay you back?
Yeah.
Bro.
I think there are several layers to this question. So there is the should you borrow them money at all? There is the should you even consider it as borrowing or should you give? And then there's the part of should you expect it back? I feel like there are so many different layers to this topic. So let's start from should
all the questions that you have asked so far, everything, the answer is no.
Let's take it step by step. Let's unpack it.
Yeah.
So first layer of this convo is that should you even borrow your parents' money at all? Like, should you consider the money you give to them as you borrowing them the money or you giving it to them?
So, if your mom or dad, you're your parents.
I think let's try and be more neutral in the sense that not everyone has parents. So if maybe anyone you consider your guardian.
Your guardian, your guardian. Or let me start from parents.
Yeah.
If your parents or your guardian, if they are Nigerians, read my lips. If they are Nigerians, don't consider any money you give them as borrowing. Consider it
I
as
agree with you on that.
For your peace of mind. When you give your parents or your guardian money, see it as a gift.
Yes, I agree.
Especially if, please, listen to understand me, especially if your parents or your guardian are typical Nigerians that have raised you from that mindset of
my child will take care of me,
They call it omolasho. Yeah, I understand. Omolasho for them is beyond.
Can you say what omolasho means in English?
Omolasho is like, my child is my covering.
Yeah.
My clothing, actually, but in the sense of covering. So for them, it's more like having a child is like, having a child is an asset.
Is an investment.
Is an investment, that kind of thing. You get. So I know they have other thoughts about omolasho, that is my child is my covering. But in a nutshell, they believe the reason they give birth to children, to children, is because they know when they raise the kids, when they grow old, the kids look after them.
Yeah. I think that is the general mentality of
which is
our
great.
Nigerian
I love
parents.
it. I love it because where we come from, there are some infrastructures that are in the Western world
that don't exist in Nigeria or any part of
in the Western
other
world,
parts of Africa.
In the Western, when people grow old, there's pension scheme that takes care of them, effective pension schemes.
Yeah.
There are old people's home.
Yeah.
There are care homes for old people and all of that. Am I correct?
Yeah.
But in Nigeria, if your papa don't old, you really don't take care of your father. You take care of your mother. But in as much as these things aren't at home, we should also understand that times are changing really fast.
Yeah.
I feel like our parents need to start to adapt to some things.
I think it's difficult for those that are still based in Nigeria where those infrastructures, like you mentioned, are missing. When they know that it's not as if someone from somewhere, another person's child, will leave
And
their
take care of them.
responsibilities and take care of them.
Yeah.
The onus is on you as the child to look after them. And I think that the way they've raised us has been, at least I'm talking about our parents of this, like the generation before us,
Uh-huh.
the way they've raised us is a lot of them went through that same upbringing, which is my children will take care of me, so I'm going to put my all in them. And unfortunately for them, and I mean this in no disrespect or in no way, because I feel like our parents have done a lot, like
A
sacrificed a
lot.
lot for
Yeah.
us, and I
Yeah.
really appreciate that. But unfortunately for them, they put all their focus 100% on their children, that many of them, and not all of them, many of them failed to maybe in the process see, like, look after themselves or set some things aside to take care of themselves, because the mentality is, when my children are strong enough, if I invest in them and in their future, they will be able to take care of me. It's not a bad thing
Yeah.
at all, but if you have children that are still coming up in life, or people who are still children who are still struggling and still trying to make ends meet for themselves and their families, it becomes
A
a bit
struggle.
of a challenge. Yeah, it becomes a struggle where now you are like, you're caught between, you're at crossroads pretty
Yeah.
much, where you're
Yeah.
like, I want to take care of my family, but also there's that demand of, you should take care of me, which I understand, but it comes across as, I have invested my life, so you
You
must take care
must
of me
by force.
like, I get that, but it becomes it starts to become a bit toxic when even you, that you're the child, you are still trying to like find your feet, and then you're now you now feel that pressure to look after your parents. Not like you don't want to, you
You
want
want
to,
to, yeah.
but you feel the obligation. It should be our obligation
It
anyway to
is
look after our
actually,
family,
yeah.
not just our parents, like our siblings as well, if you have any.
Yeah.
But when it is demanded, it's just like, for instance, someone says, Toby, go and do those dishes. There's a difference between you seeing the dishes and knowing, I need to do these dishes. You get up and you do it willingly, versus someone telling you, go and do it. That rebel mindset would immediately kick in. I should go. Oh yeah, now let's see.
Oh
We'll
my
go.
God.
So I think I completely agree with you in the sense of, like, how the culture around it.
Everything
Yeah,
is changing really fast, and
it's
like I was
difficult for them
saying,
to keep up, for real.
they need to start to understand how things are now. But unfortunately,
They can't. I don't
no,
think they can.
even if they would, it's not like they will be able to change their situation. I mean, these are people that have invested their whole life.
What should they do?
They can't do
Especially if
anything.
your parents or your guardian, especially if they don't have a source of income,
Yeah.
and you are
What
pretty
do you
much
expect
their
them to
source of
do?
income.
Yeah.
What do they do at
Yeah,
that point?
yeah. There's nothing they can do to change their situation, but I
Yeah,
think there's something that could be done from our generation.
which is,
That is, we need to learn from the pitfalls. You understand? You, as a parent of this time, you should understand that you need to put things in place. Like, when I say things in place, investments that would be that would take care of you when you're old and you can't really work, so to say.
not just the children
Not
as
just
the
the children,
investment in
yeah,
this case.
not just the children.
Yeah,
Considering your children as investment, I think it's it puts a lot of pressure on the children,
yeah,
and it affects their own growth.
yeah.
Because my own thoughts about how family should grow from generation to generation. That is, our parents,
Generational wealth and
yeah,
stuff
our
like that. Yeah,
parents, they've done a lot to get us to where we are right now, and I believe it's our sole responsibility to make sure that the baton that they've passed to us, we also run the race and make sure we end well, to give our own children another, like, a better platform to start
yeah,
from.
yeah. So that they don't have to go through the same struggles. And I
Yeah.
think that is where the big issue lies, is our
So
parents have gone through the struggles of their own
only to
parents, like,
return us
only
back.
to like, their own parents have suffered so that they can take care of them. So now when they've also grown to take care of the parents, so they've not even
So
finished taking care of
the
themselves
cycle
now. So the
continues.
cycle
There
continues.
isn't any growth,
Yeah,
so to say.
yeah.
It's supposed to be one generation takes the next generation to a level that they
That
start
is
from,
way above where they've
where they
come from.
started from.
Yeah,
So, but in this case now, we keep going back. They go forward just to bring us back to where they were
and
coming
then
from.
we try to
Yeah.
This is a
So,
very
so
important
it's so
conversation.
it's kind
Yeah.
of if you are not from Dangote or Tedola or any of the rich families,
Yeah.
it will be tough to grow.
Yeah. Because
To
while
be,
you're trying to grow, you're also thinking about other people that you're
you
trying to help
understand, yeah.
level up.
But if
Yeah.
we consider that growth, we would understand that whatever generation that you are in, let's say parents of this time should just try to put investment in place that will take care of them
Yeah.
when they can't really work, so
It's
that
essential.
so that
Yeah.
the kids, when they grow to the level where they can earn for themselves, they also start to build from where you've built to.
And I think it also takes the pressure off children. Like if us in this generation, if we raise kids that are independent minded, kids that don't have the pressure on their backs to say, oh, I'm going to university because my mother or my father or my guardian has said, go and become a doctor, go and become a lawyer because
Yeah.
you have siblings to take care of. I know that's not the typical scenario situation for everyone, but that is the general, like that's a very common thing that we see where parents are like, I spent all this money to take you to university, to you did your BSc, you did your masters,
Uh-huh.
you did PhD, you now tell me that you don't have 5 million to give to me. So all the money I spent on you,
Yeah.
was it for,
Yeah.
do you get what I
And I
mean?
don't blame them for sounding that
I
way.
also do not blame
It's
them.
because of
Yeah.
the things they've had to do, the sacrifices, before they
Yeah.
were able to train that child to
Yeah.
that level.
But also that's how their parents raised
Yeah,
many of them as
yeah,
well. Yeah.
yeah. So we're just saying this thing so that parents of our own generation now can start to change. Let's have a shift in ideology
Do
when
you
it
know what's
comes to
wild?
yeah.
The money that we're sending to our parents to take care of them too, they're sending out of it to their own parents to take care of them.
Crazy. But
Ah!
not all of them anyway. Not all of them. That's
I
for
know
those.
not
That's
all
for
of
those that
them.
their own
Like the
parents are
ones
still
who are
alive.
not working
Yeah,
will take the money that you're sending to them, and it's not even
crazy.
only their parents that they're sending money to. They're also sending to people around them who are probably not as well to do. I know this is not the typical scenario for
But
everybody,
most times
but
that's
this
it.
is a very common.
It's quite generic,
It's very
actually.
generic. Yeah,
Yeah,
it is very generic.
yeah. So I feel like
Yeah.
to go back to the initial question, you
Borrow or give
do not borrow your parents' money.
if they are Africans or they're
If
Nigerians.
they are Nigerians, do not borrow their money. If
Yeah.
you have money if they ask you for stuff, give what you can afford.
Yeah.
All I'm just saying is, don't borrow your parents' money. If they ask you
Yeah.
for stuff, please consider it as giving. Like,
Yeah.
give them.
Giving and just forget about it.
If you think
Yeah.
you are borrowing them money, even when they have the money, they won't give you back.
But I feel like some people might, with some parents might, but
My
most
love.
parents, like 9.999 out of the parents, they will not give you back.
Plus another
Plus
9999.
another 99999. It's a thing, but that is it.
So if they ask you for money, oh, borrow me this money, forget about it.
I think it's a Western concept for you to
Borrow your
see.
parents.
Don't shoot the messenger. I think it is a Western concept for kids to borrow their parents' money and expect it back and actually get it back in some cases.
Yeah, that's why I said if they
Yeah.
are Nigerians,
So
don't
don't
consider.
expect. Yeah, exactly.
If you okay, let's assume you don't take my advice and you borrow them money.
Eh.
Jesus will come back. Jesus will come back. He will go back. You will not get your money.
You will grow baby like this. You will become a two seller.
Yeah. So
Okay, so let's unpack the other layer, right?
Yeah.
So we've talked about giving, not borrowing. What was the other thing I talked about as well? When you're borrowing your parents' money, is should you expect it back? I think we've kind of covered
that's
it.
what I said. I said
We've
all
covered it
your
as well.
questions is no.
Is no. And then there was now the one of should you even borrow at all? Like should you? And I think we've already covered that as well in the sense that it is kind of your obligation at this point. Like, what are you going to do? You tell them to go and eat dust. Like that's
You shouldn't consider
yeah.
borrowing your parents' money. I remember one time I thought it was wise to borrow my
Yeah.
mom money.
Have you received the money?
Till now.
Maybe
Even when she has the
you
money.
collect, you give it yesterday.
Even when she has the money. So
Can I ask a question?
yeah, go on.
Do you think, and this is something that happens sometimes, like should you ask your parents what they need money for? So if your guardian, for instance, or your mom or your dad asks you for money, and obviously maybe you've given them their upkeep or you've given them money recently, and you're wondering, what do they need this money, especially if it's like a tangible amount of money, should you ask that, what do you need the money for? Because the reason I say this is because it is very Nigerian for our parents to say, why would you be questioning me and asking me what I need money for? Even though that money is coming from you. And
if you're gonna
yeah.
if you'll be if you would have issues with me asking you what do you need money for, when I know that what you need, like upkeep and stuff, I've given you.
Yeah.
If you'd have issues with me asking you what do you need the money for, extra money for, I don't think you actually need me to give you that money.
True.
Do you know why?
Because if you really need the money, you say what you need the
tell
money
me,
for.
yeah.
Right.
You won't be defensive. You won't say, why would you be asking
Or maybe
me?
there's a flimsy excuse behind
There
it.
is
Maybe you just
something
want to
somewhere
chop
that
life.
you don't want me to know something.
Yeah.
So I don't think but if there's any need, I said, not want.
Yeah.
If there's a need for financial assistance and you need it from me, you definitely tell me when
Of
you know
course.
that I've done what I would do like monthly. So
And this is like extra.
yeah, so I
Yeah, I
think
get what you mean.
and for me, asking you that question is not for any malicious intent. It's just because
Just to know, yeah.
I want to be able to measure from my own perspective, is this a want or a need?
So now the reason I ask that question is just because of this. Our parents sometimes are, and I'm not trying to play devil's advocate here,
Okay.
but I'm just trying to also bring a balanced perspective to the conversation. Our parents sometimes feel like they are old enough to make monetary decisions, which we'll come to in another episode.
I believe that you are capable of making financial decisions. But in this case now, the financial constraints does not rest on you. It's on me. And
So it should be, yeah, right.
Understanding that within my own financial capacity, I have other things that will call for my attention. So that are my needs. So if I'm asking you that question, it's because I want to be sure, should I drop all of this my needs? Because
And
this
prioritize your
just to
need.
prioritize your needs.
I wish, and I hope some parents are watching this, because I wish that parents would understand this more, that when your child is asking you what you need money for, it's not because they're trying to police your spending.
And don't go and tell me that the mosquito in your house has liver problem.
Wait, let me go back to what I said. Like, it's not because we're trying to police your spending. That's very funny.
Yeah.
We're not trying to police your spending. I think we just need to know, like you mentioned, if we're dropping anything, is it worth prioritizing over our own needs?
And that's
as
my
well?
decision to make anyway. It's not yours.
Yeah.
The reason I said don't tell me the mosquito in your house have liver problem or has liver problem, I mean, is because when they know you're trying to measure the degree of need, they will tell you one person from the village that is related to your uncles.
Or sometimes they'll just get angry. They'll just say, don't worry. If you cannot give me what I'm asking for just because you have money, I'll be okay, don't worry.
I know. That approach is for those that are not logical with how they make decisions.
Yeah.
When they play that thing, that emotional card, they play it a lot.
You touched on something and said you believe that, and this is what you said, like you believe that our parents are capable, or someone is capable of making financial decisions.
Yeah.
What if I told you that I don't believe that? Controversial. I don't believe that our parents are 100% capable of making financial decisions.
What I said initially.
Do you agree? Would you agree with that?
Let me explain myself. Maybe you
Okay.
will get my point. What I said that I believe that they are capable of making financial decisions, I'm speaking from their own perspective. I don't think I have the right to tell anyone that they're not capable of making financial decisions, right? Because everyone has their own right to believe that they are capable of doing anything.
That's actually fair.
Yeah.
I take that back.
So
I like that perspective a lot more.
Thank you. So for them, they are. But the reason I'm asking is because I want to be able to measure from my own end. That is because I'm the one taking care of the finances. Right?
You know you can spend money.
I believe you can.
You know how to spend. You know how to portion.
But allow me check on my end.
Right.
What should I prioritize?
Wow, what an interesting topic.
Yeah.
I think this is actually something that needed to be unpacked. And like I mentioned before, I really, really hope that parents or guardians or just anyone in general who has like a sense of, okay, let me rephrase that, anyone in general who is in a similar position of asking to receive. I'm hoping that they will take something out of this, because it's not always no for the sake of no from the person who is giving. It's also coming from a place of like, you know, logical and rational thinking that does just prioritizing one's needs. And I just hope that people will understand that more.
For me, I actually don't use no.
What do you use?
Yeah, you ask me for stuff, and I check that it's not a priority at this time. I just let you know that I can't take care of that for now. I'll let you know when I can.
That's really good, and I think that's something that people can also adapt. I think maybe that brings us to, you know, in terms of wrapping up this episode, what sort of advice should we be giving to people who have parents who or guardians who are very demanding?
If you understand what you, I mean, not you per se, I'm saying if the person in particular understand the situation, that to demand is theirs, to give is who.
Mine.
So they will demand, but you'll be the one to make the decision if it's something that you can take care of at that point. So to demand, you don't think you can control. When they say they are too demanding, I don't think you should even use the word too demanding. They're
No,
just
I don't.
demanding.
Yeah.
Just demanding. And it's normal to demand stuff. But
Yeah.
you on your end, you evaluate whatever demands that they've made.
I agree with that, and I also think that it's very good to be a bit empathetic as well and see from their own perspective, because we live in this generation now and we see things the way we want it to be, and we're saying it shouldn't be like this, but also like put yourself in their shoes. I know that this is something that I'm learning every day. Put yourself in their shoes and try to feel how they're feeling. Sometimes it can feel a bit helpless or hopeless, especially if they feel like they're at your mercy. So try to maybe be a bit empathetic in that way, so that it's not like you are a macho. No, your own is too much.
That's what I say I don't use.
No, yeah, I'm not referring to you. I'm just saying, like, as also a form of advice for anyone who's thinking, how do I manage? And I'd also say, go.
While we are being empathetic,
Yeah,
I think they also on their end,
parents and guardians. Yeah,
the parents and guardians, they need to understand that their circumstance has changed. So they need to operate within the resources available to them now,
yeah,
considering their lifestyle. It is time, once you are out of work and I mean you're retired and stuff,
yeah,
it is time to cut your clothes according to your material. The moment you don't have that understanding is when you will start to feel helpless.
Go deep.
It's deep.
Go deep.
That's
Oh.
just the truth. That's my perspective. I don't know if it's truth or not, but that's my perspective. The moment you can't, cut down on, while you were working, if somebody, Yamulika, brings the clothes, oh, my child is getting married, you buy. If they bring anything your way, you buy. You know that, oh, I'm still working, I'm actively working, I can always, make more money, or I have a business and stuff. But now you're not working, you are relying on the funds from your kids.
Yeah.
I think it's time for you to start to make some smart, okay, that's the word I can use,
Yeah.
some smart decisions.
I
Cut
think
down on excesses. Make sure that you primarily focus on necessities.
I get your point, but I also think that it's not as black and white as that. I think for some people,
It's a hard pill to swallow,
yeah,
honestly.
but also for some people,
yeah,
some parents or guardians, I feel like some of them might not even be able to. It's a thing of the mind, like right, like
they're
the
not able to
mindset.
cut down on
No,
stuff.
like they're not able to cut. I think it might be difficult to wrap your head around the fact that you who had plenty and did plenty can no longer do plenty. It's not a straightforward just disconnect from that. Not everybody
It
can.
takes some getting used to.
Yeah. But I think that's a really valid point. I'm trying to move us along a bit. And I just think one last thing from me would be for anyone who's like thinking, how do I, do this with my parents or my guardian? I think also when you're giving, don't lose sight of what you can be doing to build. more and build yourself and to be more to help yourself become more sustainable. So give, it's good to give, but also think of how you stay financially sustainable. So don't say because you have, I don't know, maybe £5,000 in savings and somebody comes from somewhere and says, I need £3,000, that is probably not a necessity, and then you just drain your savings for that, and then when you actually need the money, nobody can help you. So I definitely think that there is a lot of
The funny thing
that needs to be applied.
the funny thing is, you see, the parents, when they come to you to ask for stuff and you keep giving, they appreciate it, no doubt. But when push comes to shove, push comes to shove,
When push comes to shove.
push comes to shove. When push comes to shove, and some financial decisions need to be made
Yeah.
that requires you to rely on your own financial strength, and you're like, I don't have any, they'll be so disappointed in you. They will forget. It's not like they are intentionally doing it. It's just like
Selective amnesia.
they will forget that they are the ones that have put you in that position where you are. So it means that they expect you, even while you think you are giving, they expect you to be making smart financial decisions.
That is why we're telling you now.
They
Make smart decisions.
expect you to save. They expect you to invest. And if you think, oh, I'm doing all of this, living my life with my parents.
Your excuse can never be, I don't have money because I'm giving my
Nah.
parents money. What?
So make smart decisions.
Right.
It rests on you to make sure that your own generation improves the standard of living of your entire generation before the next generation. I hope that makes sense to you. So
Smart.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you. I don't think I have anything else to say because that was a really nice close, nice finish. Yeah, that's everything. Make smart decisions, guys. And please do subscribe.
Yeah.
Follow.
Yeah.
Do they follow on YouTube?
No, follow on Instagram and
TikTok.
follow
on Instagram and TikTok.
Subscribe
to our YouTube
turn
channel.
on post notification on YouTube.
You're good at this.
Yeah. I've been watching a lot of YouTube channels.
True. Well, anyway, thank you so much, guys, for watching.
Blessings,
and
guys.
see you later.
Love you guys. Peace.
Bye.